Good morning, good morning. Welcome to...
And good afternoon.
And good afternoon. Welcome to, Season 2, Episode 1. Who knew that we could not kill each other between this year and last year?
We had a happy Christmas.
We had a very happy Christmas.
We hope you had a happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas, Merry New Year. We are so excited to have you here. We are your hosts. My name is James Dennis. To my left, the lovely Hope Solomon.
Hello.
We are so excited for you to be here. Welcome. I feel so special. Like we are YouTube famous.
YouTube famous.
Who knew that we could be YouTube famous? This is all new to me. I'm just taking it in. It probably is your daily. We are so excited to be on YouTube. So we are excited. Make sure that you are using the chat. Yes. Obviously, we cannot see your beautiful faces, and we miss you. But we want to see your beautiful faces.
We can see your beautiful words.
Yes, we can see your beautiful words. And just like Brett, we can see your face right
Brett.
there. Hey, Brett. So we are excited about what's going to happen. Let's go ahead and look at our agenda for the day. Hope, you want to tell us what's going to happen?
I do want to tell you what's going to happen. So to kick us off, we are going to have Jake, our president and COO, give a little intro. Throughout the event, we are going to have fun quizzes, which are called Kahoots. So this is how you win a Yeti. But the most important part and the most exciting thing is the interview. That's what I'm most excited for. Maybe you're most excited to potentially win the Yeti. So
I want to win that Yeti.
How are they going to win the Yeti? Well,
for those of you that have been living under a rock for the last year and haven't been participating with us, you should know that we are excited to give away this Yeti. And we do that through a game called Kahoot. So if you've never done Kahoot, you need to go out to www.kahoot.it. Open it on your mobile browser. So go out to www.kahoot.it on your mobile browser, or go to your app store, and download it there. It's Kahoot, K-A-H-O-O-T-S. Kahoots? Kahoot. All right. So make sure that you go out there, download the app now. You're not going to miss anything right at this moment because let's face it, it's just me talking. Go out and download the app. Make sure you have it ready because we're going to give you a code or a QR code here in a minute, and you are going to want to make sure that you are ready for that. So, ready. Make sure you're ready. So, but for now, we're actually going to go ahead and send it over to our illustrious leader. And he's going to give our introduction for our theme this month. So without further ado, Jake Martin.
Good morning and welcome to the 2023 Insider. First, I just want to say personally thank you so much for being here. We're excited to kick off Season 2 with a bang today, and I know James and Hope have already got us on the right track. So first I want to share a few things and a few personal thoughts I have about what we experienced last year and what we've done to continue to move this live stream event forward for each one of you, the Insiders. So first things first, 2022 was an extreme success. In fact, it far exceeded our expectations. And I think the most important part of that was listening to the feedback from each one of you, the Insiders. And so what we've done is we've made some changes. We've attenuated a few things. We are introducing some new things. And I just wanted to talk briefly about that as we get things started today in January. So first, a result of the feedback that you've provided, we are going to be expanding our client or our guest interview segments. You're going to see this today. So when we would provide surveys at the completion of each one of these events, which I will go ahead and plug right now, please provide your feedback upon conclusion of today's event. What we heard was from your feedback, the number one thing that you enjoyed the most out of last year was the guest interviews. And I think that also mirrors our opinion as well. So this event here is not to just entertain, but it's to bring good content, good information, good strategies for each one of you to take back to your financial institution to impact your organization. And the best way you can do that, get briefed on the latest technology from what James and Hope will share with you, but then also to take what our guests are sharing with you from what's being done within the branches of banks and credit unions across this country to better serve customers and members. So we want to expand that. So we're growing the guest interview segment to about a half an hour, giving it more time, giving it more attention. And that part of it will also bleed into something else that we'll be introducing today, which I'm also equally excited about. But before we get there, some new things, new format for better content. A lot of things we received feedback on in addition to that was the challenges you were having to join these events. So traditionally, for the last several years, we've been using WebEx as our platform to distribute the Insider live stream, and we've decided to pivot and move over to YouTube. So what YouTube is going to do is allow us to provide better content for you. It's going to enable us to do a better job of presenting the information we have. And also, it's going to make James and Hope look even better every single month, which is a win for all of us, right? So they're not disappointed about that as well. The other thing I want to talk about, which is brand new this month as well, is the Invo Insider podcast. So what we wanted to do is take advantage of the storytelling that was taking place from our guest interviews and expand that into a long form platform, a longer duration of time for them to tell stories, for us to ask more pointed questions, and to not be constrained within traditionally what's been about a 15 to 20 minute segment. And so we've embarked on a new path this year, a little bit daunting, but also equally exciting. And that is the launch of the Invo Insider podcast, which will be happening this month. So what we're doing is recording a video, audio, long form format, which will be distributed on every major podcast platform, but also taking that interview segment and then parsing that down to almost like a highlight reel, which we'll be sharing every month in this live stream event. So you'll have access to both the long form as well as what I might refer to as the highlight reel. And both I think are going to be beneficial. So I'd encourage you to check out the podcast. If you like what you see here at the live stream, then you're going to love what you're going to see and hear at the podcast as well. Now, moving to a new format creates some new challenges, right? So this live stream is going to be very interactive, just like it has been historically. Want you to be encouraged to be live in the chat. We'll have members of the Invo team present in chat, interacting and engaging with you. So please be active within the chat section of our stream. And also know that the Kahoots have not gone away. So you'll still see that. I think that you've already heard an introduction of that this morning, but we'll be doing interactive games. And of course, we'll be giving something fun away. The other thing I want to say is I'm going to ask for your grace and your patience. So doing anything new is going to lead to bugs or hiccups, things that we don't expect. So I am going to ask for your grace and your patience this month and over the next several live streams as we get this thing going, because we don't know what we don't know. And so as we jump into this, there may be things that happen and occur. So just stay with us. We're going to have a good time. And lastly, the Invo Insider live stream is only as good as the insiders that are here, and that's you. So I appreciate you joining us today, this month and every month this year. You're going to have a great time. Please be interactive in chat. Give us feedback. Let us know what you honestly think about today's event and every event that follows this one. And tell your friends and your colleagues. Help us to grow this event. You are our best referral source of sharing what's happening here. And continuing to share these innovations with your colleagues is important to us. So please help us to spread the word. I would be very grateful for that. So welcome to the January episode, season 2, episode 1. We're excited about what today is going to hold. In order to keep this thing going, I'm going to send it back over to Studio A with James and Hope.
All right. Thank you so much, Jake. We are so excited. Once again, season 2, episode 1. Here we are. And guess what? It's Kahoot time.
It's Kahoot time.
Yes. So we are so excited about this Kahoot. As you can see at the top of the screen, we have that special game pin. So if you went out to the website or if you have the downloaded app, go ahead and put that game pin in. So you want to make sure that you get that game pin correct, or actually you can actually just scan that QR code and that will take care of it for you. So it'll put you directly in. So we are waiting for people to, there we go.
Woohoo!
All kinds of people jumping in here. Everybody wants to win that Yeti.
Yes,
it
this
doesn't
is how
matter.
you win the Yeti.
This is how you win the
And
Yeti.
remember, you gotta be fast and you have to be correct.
Yes, absolutely. Those are the rules. I already said that. Didn't I?
Just reiterate.
Just reiterating
Of course,
that. Yes,
James.
fast and correct. Otherwise, you're second place, and we all know what second place is. Not a winner. So there you go. You don't get a Yeti. So we want you to be, oh my gosh. You've got to be kidding me. Raider Hog again?
Oh.
I missed you, Brent.
For those of you who don't know,
I really missed you.
James does not like the Raiders or the what is it? The
Arkansas. Razorbacks.
This has to do with the sport.
Yeah, the sports. We're all about the sports, or at least I am. So it's nice to see you, Brent. I hope you lose. So, so we are going to give you just a few more minutes to try and get in here. Let's see here. We've got all kinds of people jumping in here. Aw, thank you, Brent. See, I am reading the chat. I love you too, man.
He loves you.
I can't do the little heart thing,
All
but
right.
I'm hoping nobody can see me anyway.
All right, I think we're good to go. So let's go ahead and get this party started,
Let's
shall
do
we?
it.
All right.
All right. The first episode, the first quiz
Kahoot. Here
is
we
all
go.
about who?
Or what?
Invo.
How many years has Invo been in business?
Let's see if anybody knows that we have actually been here 1,000 years.
Are we vampires?
We might be vampires. 5, 11, 1,000, or 7.
1,000.
Who knows actually how long we've been here?
How long have we been here?
Since the beginning of time.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that? No?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
9 people had that correct.
It is 11 years.
We just rolled over to 11 years.
We just did.
2012.
Skip, congratulations. You're in first place.
Way
Here
to
we
go, Skip.
What color is Invo's logo? This one should be pretty easy.
Considering it's behind me.
Yeah, yes. Red, yellow,
Oh,
blue,
I see what
or
you
green.
did there. You are
Kinda
such a
had to-
snake. You are
Kinda had
such
to
a snake.
Mix it up a little bit.
I
you know what
don't
I'm saying?
appreciate when you do that because
James,
I'm
you're-
usually the person that doesn't catch it until later.
You're too fast.
I am too fast.
Too fast.
Totally not fair. I agree.
Yes. Oh, I only mixed up 3 people.
Oh, but if
It
Lori's one
is-
of them, you're never going to be forgiven.
It is blue.
It is
We're all
blue.
about blue. Okay, here we go. This is the last question for the segment. True or false? Majority of Invo team plays Call of Duty during lunch, including myself.
Including Hope.
Including
Can
me.
you see Hope as a Call of Duty person? The question is she any good? I don't want to say or not say that she may have been the MVP 5 times in a row. I don't know.
Maybe 5. It is true, you guys.
We are
do.
real nerds. We
We
absolutely
sit
love
in a big room.
sit in a big room in a giant circle, sing Kumbaya, and play Call of Duty.
Call of
It's
Duty.
so much fun.
And
Hope is the MVP. You are correct. So she absolutely is. We have so
fun.
much fun with that.
We have so much fun.
So as Jake mentioned, we have a very special treat for you today. So Jake has already told you all about our Invo Insider podcast that will be dropping on Friday. We are so excited to have you subscribe to that. We can't wait to get that to you, but we're going to give you a piece of it today. So part of the interview of today is just part of a larger interview that has already been done for the podcast. So you're going to want to make sure that you get that podcast on Friday because there's much more information that we could not cram into this short time. So, but we are excited to have Brett here. We're excited for you to get to enjoy the interview. So without further ado, we're going to send it over to our interview for the day with Brett from Tower Community Bank.
All right. Today on the show, we are excited to have Brett Hollenbeck, a virtual banking director from Tower Community Bank, the one and only. He's going to share with us how, as an insider to the industry, he's making a big impact in the community banking space through technology and focusing on customer service. And I can't wait to hear what he has to say. With that, Brett, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me on, Jake. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. We're glad you're here. I don't know how I feel about you already upstaging us with the microphone and the professional recording studio that you're calling in from, but you look fantastic.
Thank you. It's basically a closet with a really nice microphone and soundboard.
Oh, it's doing the trick, that's for sure, man. And listen, we're super excited to have you here. I would like to start off though with just allowing you some time to tell your story, man. I mean, you're super unique in that you've got that crossover skill set of customer service and the focus on the customer, and thinking from that perspective, bringing in that from other industries, but you're not a lifelong banking individual in your skill set, which I think is what brings that unique perspective for you. So why don't you just kind of open up with unpacking a little bit about your history and how you ended up, jumping into banking? I mean, what's that all about? How did you do that?
Yeah, it's a really interesting story that doesn't make any sense at all on paper, but I'm happy to share it. So I started with a company called Cintas right out of college. And actually during college, I ran out of financial aid and my advisor said, hey, you can either get a job and pay this off or you can drop out. And so I was like, hey, I'll get a job. And so I started with this company called Cintas, and upon graduation, joined their management trainee program.
Yep.
And I just sort of fell in love with Cintas and everything about them, and really saw myself pretty much my entire career working at and for Cintas and really rising in the ranks there. I loved everything that they did, and I still have a lot of respect for Cintas. Well, they ended up selling off the division of the company that I was a part of and divested it to a company called Access. So I went from a $4 billion company all the way down to a $50 million company at the time that we were acquired. And so it was a very different world. And to me, it was the Wild West. Cintas was very structured and rigorous.
Oh, yeah.
And Access was very much still like, yeah, just go ahead and do it and figure it out after. And so these were two very different environments for me to learn in. But the one thing I would say that helped me develop a lot of the skill sets that I have now is a leader that saw potential in me and welcomed me and cared for me and always encouraged me and challenged me to keep on growing and to continue evolving. And so I stayed with Access for about 7 years. And after that, I started working for a company in East Tennessee that is a regional security company as the chief operating officer. So I did a number of roles for Access in a number of states, and then moved to East Tennessee and love East Tennessee, hence the Tennessee Vols here. But yeah, I started as a chief operating officer for this regional security company, and really with the idea of how can we help this company grow. They were ready to start a growth phase, and a lot of that was centered on really operationalizing a lot of ideas. It was really trying to standardize things so that they were scalable, so that they were sustainable, and really focusing on customers and listening to customers and what they liked, what they didn't like, and really trying to hone in on those things and make them a part of every day at that organization. So I met Barry, our organization CEO, in our MBA program at UT.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, I'm thinking about starting this virtual bank. I need somebody to run it. Would you be interested? And the rest is history. So I've been in banking about a year now and really excited to be here. There is so much potential in this space. It's been, it's such an old industry, but I think there's still so much room for us to continue to dial in on some of these best practices that maybe other industries have adopted more quickly.
Let's stick with that transition, right? So you obviously, and I know Barry Allen as well, president and CEO of the bank, and a super charismatic guy. And I think he's done a fantastic job of building this team. So he had to have made one heck of a sales pitch to you. So let's get into that. Like, what was the conversation? And I want you to get as detailed and as open as you want here. So what was the conversation like that compelled Brett enough to walk out of this career path that you were on, that's obviously extremely successful, and to open your eyes to, community banking?
Yeah, so it was a great sales pitch, hence me being here. Barry is one of the most charismatic people that I know, and you just alluded to that. And when we had the conversation, the idea was really around, we've got this idea for a virtual bank, but we don't know how to monetize it. And this is a problem that a lot of community banks and a lot of banks in general are trying to solve right now, is how do we create a system or a structure where we can serve our customers, but where it's not just pure overhead. And so that's really the idea that enticed me and got me excited about Tower. Was one, the fact that Barry was thinking in this way, that he was thinking outside of the box, that he was thinking differently. There was a lot of risk inherently for both of us bringing me to the bank, right? There's risk for him and his reputation bringing me. If things didn't go well, there's risk for me leaving a career where I did have a lot of success and trying something completely new. But I think the one thing that really caught my eye and that was exciting about Tower and that was exciting about this venture was the capability or the ability to really build something from the ground up and to be able to look back over the next year or two and know, hey, this is something that didn't even exist a couple years ago. And now look at the impact it's having bank-wide and system-wide. And so that's why I'm really excited to be here. And that's also where the win is for Barry and for the bank, is we're figuring out now, and we're sort of in the process of this currently, of how do we monetize this thing and make it something that doesn't just cost overhead, but that actually generates revenue and hopefully sizable revenue for the bank.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think what would be good is to even maybe just give some of the listeners a perspective on what we're talking about. Because, Tower Community Bank, not a new financial institution, but in the same, I would say the same lane is almost, 90 to 95% of community banks across the United States, which is established, successful, family owned a lot of times, or the same shareholders over, decades of time, which, that whole mantra mentality of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Or if it's been profitable and has been working, why deviate that path? So to have those ideas to change and shift are significant. And this wasn't the first thing that's been done. So why don't we take a step back and maybe a step up and look at it for everyone from a perspective of, what's going on at Tower Community Inc? What have you joined into? What are you coming on as a part of? Just kind of share with the audience the story of Tower Community Bank, as it stands today going into 2023. And what are the shifts in customer service? What are the shifts in the business model a little bit?
Yeah. So, and I'll speak to this to the best of my ability with my knowledge being here a year and picking up.
You're an expert. You're in a year. You're an expert.
So Tower has always had, and a lot of community banks have this story, right? It was started for a reason. The community had a need. They were underserved from a banking perspective, members of the community who couldn't get access to loans or bank accounts elsewhere. And so Tower was created to help serve miners, factory workers, and other people who had trouble getting bank accounts in other places and trouble getting loans in other places, and to provide them a service that was much needed. And Tower really has had a ton of success over the years in serving those segments, and that really hasn't changed over time. So our heart is still really around, how do we serve pockets of the population that are maybe underserved or maybe not served at all. And so that's really where we've tried to niche down over time. And part of that this year is launching a Latino bank that we are super excited to be launching in Murfreesboro. And that's coming online here in the next month, and is super exciting for us as a bank, because again, that's a segment of the population here in Middle Tennessee that wasn't served to the degree that they should have been. And part of our success in that arena so far has just been listening and understanding and trying to provide a service that wasn't being provided before. And so really that's the whole idea in our virtual bank as well, is how do we, instead of having our customers have to come into the branch to complete a transaction or to open an account or to apply for a loan, can we do that virtually? Can we do that without them coming into the office? And that then gives the power back to the customer. And I think that's what a lot of people really want today, not just in a bank, but in any service provider, is let me choose.
Yep.
Right? I want to be able to choose.
Yeah.
If I want to go to the bank, I want to have a bank nearby that I can go to. But if I'm busy or I'm out of town or my kid is sick and I can't make it in, I still want to have the opportunity to do the same things that I could do in the branch, at home, or from anywhere I've got an internet connection. And so that's a lot of what we're trying to solve for with the virtual bank. And that's what we're really excited about right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think one of the things you said there is important about the listening piece. So you said you guys are listening to your customer base, listening to the community that you guys are serving. How were you listening? Are you willing to share some of that? Was it direct communication, engagement, open dialogue, feedback from customers? I mean, what did that look like? What kind of strategies did you guys pursue?
Yeah, I think it's all of the above. When we did our relaunch or our rebrand, when we sort of became Tower, and that was the new brand that we took on, there was a lot that went into that. There was a lot of testing that we partnered with a marketing firm to do to sort of test different names and ideas and see what stuck and what resonated with people. And that's always been a commitment that we've had, is listening in that way. But I think it also comes to talking to your frontline team members. And they hear most of what your customers have to say, right? They're hearing the complaints when there's complaints. They're hearing the praise when there's praise. And they hear it repetitively enough that if you go and you talk to a teller who's been there for 5 years, they can probably tell you your 3 to 5 biggest customer complaints like that.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of where we start to gain traction. It is direct customer communication. But I think don't neglect to talk to people who are regularly interacting with customers, because they are going to have the quickest and probably most accurate opinion on what could be changed really quickly to gain traction with your customers.
Yeah, I think that's great. And it's always interesting to me when we talk about this type of a topic with our clients across the United States, those that are blazing a trail or doing something that others that are not doing, is because they're listening. And they're not just listening with, hey, I'm going to send a survey out after an interaction. I'm going to actually actively listen, then engage, then maybe try some things and be willing for some of those things to fail, but be willing to try. So I think that's what I love about the virtual bank and what you guys are launching, and the vision that Barry has and that the bank is supporting, that you're literally spearheading yourself. So talk us through what the last year has looked like for you, and coming in at the very front edge of that with just a vision or a concept or a framework of what a virtual bank is. And then what were the steps that you took to start to implement that, get teams behind that, bring technologies into that? I mean, that's how we know that Invo became a part of the story. Help us to understand a little bit about what each one of those steps were.
Yeah, so coming into the banking industry, into Tower, was really, like you said, it was just an idea. There was a thought that I had, hey, I think we could generate revenue potentially exponentially by partnering with service providers or even product providers, and offering a point of sale loan service that was instant. So you've got instant decisioning. The loan then funds directly to the partner. And so the business partner would receive the loan funds instead of the end client. And then allowing those partners then to refer to us clients. So instead of going out and finding one client, I'm going and finding one business partner that sends me 5 clients per week, right? Or 10 applications, and we approve 50, 60, 70% of those, whatever that number may be. So that was the initial idea when I came in. And the first thing that I did when I got to Tower was really, again, listening. That's been big in my career. And so that's one of the things that I took from a guy named Jocko Willink, if you all have heard of him. And Jake, I know you have. He's got this concept called big eyes, big ears. Big eyes, big ears. Yeah. And so when you come in, just observing, asking questions. Why do we do it this way? How did this come about? You know, if someone's saying, hey, we have to do it this way, my first question is always digging into, okay, why? And if they say, well, that's the way we've always done it, we're going to dig a little deeper. Okay, well, who taught you this? And then I'm going to go talk to that person. Why do we do it this way? And so a lot of question asking. Next was creating a vision for the virtual bank. And so finding a vision statement that resonated with our team members, that resonated with our customers, that resonated with our leadership team was the next challenge. And once we had that, started building a team. And so I had my first team member join about 2 months after I got to Tower.
Okay.
And she's someone who's been at Tower quite a while and put a lot of trust in me to come to a new division of the bank. But she's really been my business partner in this whole thing and has helped me sort of build this idea from the ground up. And a lot of I'd say the progress feels really incremental at times. It feels like, man, I see 100 things that could be done next week, but it's really taking that list and looking at it and saying, okay, what are the 2 or 3 things that if I accomplish them this week, they move me in the direction in a significant enough way that next week I can build on that. Because there is so much. If you're building a new division, or maybe you're starting a new idea at your bank or working on a new project, overwhelm can be so massive in those moments. And there's just hundreds of things that could be done. And this role for me is a lot like entrepreneurship, where if I need a marketing piece, I'm doing that, right? I'm doing the graphic design. If I want a podcast recorded, I'm doing that. And then I'm editing it. If I want a web page built, I'm building the web page. If I need to hire someone, I'm doing the hiring. And so there's a lot that goes into that. And finding ways to break it down into smaller chunks and to say, hey, if I could get these 3 things done, just these 3, I know that I've won the week. And that's something that's really helped me feel like my head's above water when I feel like maybe my body's weighing me down. I can at least say, hey, I've got some oxygen here. We're making progress. And I'm really, really happy with where we are, a year in. It's been a tough road. And I don't know that I would wish it on anyone else, but it's also very rewarding.
Well, let's dive in a little bit further. I know we were talking a little bit about the strategies and some of your different partners that you have either pulled up to where you wanted them to be and cultivated those things, or you've identified and brought on new partners. Is there anyone else you would want to identify or kind of walk out there that helped to support the virtual bank as you've been developing that?
Yeah, I think one other that's definitely worth mentioning is a company called Get Guru. And I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Get Guru, but it's a knowledge base, and it's full text searchable. You can attach files. And so you create these things called cards, and it structures and sort of has a hierarchy to information. So you can structure it however you want. But the great thing is it's actually a Chrome plugin. So we can run it over the top of Invo. And it's a little panel that you click that pops out, and our team members can search anything. So let's say it's someone newer and they may not know, hey, what are the hours for our Chattanooga branch? They can search branch, or they can search Chattanooga, or they can search hours, and all of those would pull up that card that has that information. And so we've worked hard at sort of building that repository of practices and operating procedures. And to this point, you could search almost any process that we have, or any question that a customer may ask, and you're going to have an answer there on, hey, here's how you do it. Here's the software that you need. Here's the things to look out for. And so that's been really helpful for us as a fast growing team, and as a team that has a lot of new people coming in, is getting them up to speed and helping them understand where information is. And if we have one central place, that's really, really helpful. So Get Guru has been a good partner for that.
That's awesome. And just so for everyone who is listening in and maybe doesn't understand the complexities of the solutions that you guys have deployed, we're talking about where there's a live engagement taking place between the customer and an employee of Tower, or an agent, as that's what we would call them at Invo. And so they're live in video, but being able to then put in their hands and empower them to be that one source or that one resource for that customer while they're on the fly, not having to say, I'll get back to you on that, or hey, let me go get you an answer. They could literally be engaged in live, almost with an overlay, and have information being available to them, just almost like a library. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. And that it reduces hold time. It increases our survey results on the back end of the call. It's really, really helpful. And I mean, if you put yourself in a customer's shoes and you call somewhere, really you hope that the person that you talk to first is the person that solves that, and that you don't need another call. You don't need a call back. You don't need a follow-up email. And so this is really empowering our team to engage in a way where they feel confident that they're able to do that, hopefully on that first call.
Yeah, man, that's good. So let's stay there for just a second, and when I say stay there, let's kind of walk through what that experience actually looks like for the customer. So you've brought so many awesome pieces of technology together to open this new engagement platform, if you will, through your digital channels. So what does it look like? Let's say that I am coming to the Tower Community Bank website and I need to seek a loan or I need support or I just have questions. What walk me through and walk the listeners through what that's actually going to be like if we've never done that before.
Absolutely. So our goal is to make it as easy and as obvious as possible. So
Yeah.
right when you get to our homepage, your IP address, if it hasn't been to our site in the past 7 days, is going to get a pop-up. And that pop-up says, hey, our virtual bank is live. Meet one of our virtual bankers now. So if you want to engage in the virtual bank and you're not wanting to go back into a branch currently for whatever task, you've got that link there that's going to push you over to the Invo landing page. Alternatively, we also are, hopefully by the end of the day today, we will have the Invo chat widget live on our website. Having that chatbot is just another way to engage. Again, it's all about, for Tower, how do we put the power back in the customer's hands and give them a lot of options to engage us. The chat seamlessly then goes into a video call. So let's say we aren't able to resolve something by chat. The person may be getting frustrated or they're not getting the answer that they're wanting. We can then prompt them to go right into a video call from the chat seamlessly, and that will open up with their information in the portal. And it's really, really simple. And that's really what it's all about for us, is engaging. And it's really a number of clicks. So you get to the virtual bank landing page, which is the first page of the Invo app, essentially.
Yep.
And it's really customizable. You all were great, I'll say, to work with. Even some little one-off things that we were like, hey, could it be possible to do this? And you all always said yes, and always found a way to make it happen, which was really cool for us. And again, is why we love partnering with Invo. And so customer lands there, they choose, hey, I want to call someone now or I want to call someone later. I can schedule a call. After that, they choose what they want to do. What's the reason you're there? Am I here to get a loan? Do I just have a general question? Do I want to check an account balance? Whatever that is, they've got a button. Press the button, fill out some basic customer information, which allows us to follow up if for some reason, there's a technical failure. They don't have good cell phone service and they're calling from their cell phone and it drops.
Sure.
We can shoot them an email to follow up or call them to follow up after that. And so then it rings in and they see a little bit of our marketing flair right from the start. So there's a little, almost like a video that plays while they're on hold, and then our agents answer.
That's good. And I think it's also fair to say that you guys challenged our team. And so I think back to initially, we sat down and talked through what we wanted this to be. And then we started the process of getting it off the ground, implementing it, started to refine the scope, right? And that's when I loved how you told the story, and I remember this. You told the story of what you wanted the customer to experience, and I don't think I had ever heard a banker that I had engaged with during the onboarding process explain it to that way. And to be fair, I don't sit on all of those, but I don't think I'd ever heard it articulated the way that you did, which was, we want it to look like this. We want it to feel like this. We want it to make it easy. Like you said, easy and obvious, right? But I think about how you wanted it to look and feel like Tower. And I hadn't really ever considered that before, right? You don't want the software to take the customer out of the experience. You actually want them to draw them in and not feel disjointed. And by challenging us in that, honestly, I think a lot of our other clients have also benefited from that. So it's back to what you said, relationship is important. It's important to us as well, but you guys have also helped us. Like they say, iron sharpens iron. It's definitely a real example of that, though, and how you guys pushed us to do that. So you mentioned surveys. So you guys are utilizing surveys at the conclusion of these interactions, and what does that look like? And if you want to, what questions are you asking?
Yeah, we are. So we are using the surveys. So to answer that first, yes, we are using the surveys, and we love that feature because it gives us an immediate feedback from the customer. And the nice thing about the survey feature within Invo is the simplicity. So again, easy and obvious. There's 5 stars. There's 3 questions. All the customer has to do is click where they want on the stars, and there's half stars as well. So they scroll over, they click, they go to the next section, scroll over, click, submit. And that's all there is to it. All the sort of demographic data is already tied to the call, so there's no need for them to re-enter that. So they're just evaluating the call. I believe the first question that we asked is, how was your experience with your video banker today? And then we have a second question that I'm failing to remember. And the third is, how likely are you, based on your experience today, to recommend the virtual bank to a friend? And so we have 3 questions there. And really that last one is the key, right? Because if someone's not willing to recommend us to a friend or a colleague, that's a real concern. And that's where we have to be following up and understanding what the issues were with that call that would cause someone not to want to come back.
That's good. We're actually, just a good time to bring it up. You didn't really ask, but I'm going to share it anyway. So one of the things that has been presented to us is the ability to change the way that scoring system works. So you can actually capture a net promoter score. So you'll be able to decide, hey, do I want to allow my customers to provide feedback from 1 to 10? Do I want to use the star system, and be able to navigate that? So yeah, obviously you can ask any questions that you want. You can ask for open-ended feedback as well, but you'll also be able to start capturing some net promoter score data if that is something that would be helpful for you guys. So little extra nugget.
Yeah,
there.
I'm a big fan of net promoter score.
Brett's not the only one that can share cool things today. All right, so I want to give you one last chance. So we're about at the end here, and so I wanted to kind of open this up to you. What else would you like to share, either about yourself and in your short journey into this industry, giving some fresh perspectives? And I think the best way to kind of encapsulate that is, there's no better person to challenge the status quo than you. You're bringing those outside perspectives in. You've got a year under your belt. You've got an opportunity to challenge a lot of people. So what I would like to do is just leave this as the last question. Is, what would you like to share about yourself, or what would you like to share about community banking in general?
I think it's really important just to say that, like, there's nothing inherently special or unique about me or my approach. And I don't say that in like a self-derogatory way. I just mean that anyone is capable of doing the things that we're doing here at Tower. Anyone is capable of, building a relationship with someone outside the industry, even if it's not someone who's coming in at maybe like an executive or leadership level. Can you hire someone in the teller position that comes in from outside the industry? And can you ask them for their feedback and really value it and try to understand their perspective? I don't think that there's anything that makes me or the projects that I'm focusing in on really, really unique or special. I think they're things that we're all capable of. It's just having a leader who's willing to, such as Barry, who's willing to sort of take on that risk and try something a little bit different and have a different vision. And then, as far as the community banking industry, it would probably just be, the number one thing I've seen as I've started to get to know other community banks, and there's a lot of great people in community banking, and I feel really honored to be a part of the community bank space. And I think we do a lot of things really, really well. So for all the things I've said, hey, we could improve on this today, I think there's a lot of things that community banking gets right, which is why it's still around, right? And why it's still, in a lot of cases, thriving. And so I'd say if you are a community banker and you're looking for sort of that next step, I would say, again, find something that you can focus in on. Maybe start by mapping your customer journeys and really map them from beginning to end, high value to low value. Each step, you're looking at high value, low value, not from your perspective, from the clients. Yeah. Just pick 2 or 3 and start there. And I think a lot of change and a lot of growth, personally and professionally, starts with really, really small increments. And then it builds momentum, for a lack of a better word, right? If you want to lose 50 pounds, you don't start out by doing everything at once. If you do, you're probably going to burn out. You start out by hey, maybe instead of eating the chips, I'm going to, eat some vegetables. I'm going to eat a piece of fruit, whatever. Those little decisions add up. A great book on that is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. I love that book because it talks about 1 or 2 degrees of change over the course of thousands of miles is thousands of miles different in the place you end up. And so I'd say find those little things that you can do better. And don't be afraid to take a little risk in investing in a good business partner like Invo that can really, really help you change the trajectory of how you interact with customers and put the power back in their hands.
I love it. I love it.
Guys,
awesome.
thank you so
well,
much.
Brett, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
so much.
it really
We
has
appreciate
been.
your time.
Yeah.
Awesome,
I'll
man.
talk to
Take
y'all
care.
soon.
We'll talk to you soon.
Alrighty. Bye, guys.
So good.
I really could listen to him talk for like,
I know. He should read books.
you know what? Maybe he has his own podcast as well.
Maybe
you never
he
know.
does.
You might read the chat if you want more information about that. So, so we are so excited about that interview. Like I said, to hear more about it, make sure you get our podcast, which will be dropping on Friday. Drop. So, let's see if anybody listened to all the things that he said, because we have Kahoot too. So hopefully you did not close your browser or your app,
Bring it back up
because
if you did.
we want you to win, and we do not want, who's on top? Not Scott.
Not Scott.
So is that Bob?
Interesting. All right. Here we
I
go.
don't know.
Let's do this.
All right, do it.
First question is about the interview. Here we go. What is a concept that Brett follows by Jocko Willink?
Yes.
Big eyes, big ears, small ears, big hearts, big dreams, big eyes, small ears.
Wow. What do you got against people with small ears?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Nothing.
All right,
fantastic.
we've got 11 answers. Who else?
Come on. Here we go.
All right.
Big eyes, big ears.
Big eyes,
What a
big
good
ears.
concept.
That is great. I really like that.
Leaderboard.
Oh, Doc has taken the
Doc.
lead.
Okay.
Who's Doc? I don't know who Doc is.
Give us something in the chat. What words did Brett use to describe their video banking experience for their customers? Was it confusing and brilliant, difficult and obscure, distracting and fabulous, or easy and obvious?
I'm going to go with
What was it?
absolutely spectacular.
We only have 9 answers. Come
Uh-oh.
on.
That means several people. Oh, there they
Did you
come.
say
There they.
spectacular?
Yep, absolutely spectacular. That's what I said.
Yes. Easy and obvious. That is so correct.
Haha, there it is.
V. V is in first place.
V is in first
All
place.
right, here's
well
the last
go.
one for the segment. What color was Jake's jacket in the T on Brett's shirt? Was it burnt orange,
It should
purple
have
and gold,
been purple and
neon
gold.
green, or bubblegum?
I personally think it
Go
should
with
have been
bubblegum
purple
pink,
and gold.
okay.
Purple and gold, it should have been, but
Purple,
there's,
come on, no.
hey, you know
Should
what?
have been blue and orange and green for the Gators. Go.
Burnt orange, yes.
It
That's what I
was
call
burnt
it.
orange. Wow,
I
12 people
call
got
it
that
burnt
right.
orange.
V.
Please
Hold in
forgive me,
first
Texas
place.
fans. I still think
Hold
it's
in
burnt
first
orange.
place.
All right,
Congratulations. Okay, we have
congratulations.
one more. So leave your browser up, leave your app up. Don't
Yes.
close it.
Do not close your
Don't
browser.
close it.
Make sure you keep it open, because we do
Yes.
not want you to start over at 0. So we are so excited about the Kahoot. Who's winning? V? V is winning. So let's see if you can keep it up, V. We are going to do a brand new segment. Who is ready for this? I can tell you, you are not ready for this. It is 30-second thoughts with Hope and James.
Ooh.
More importantly, 30-second thoughts with Hope, which is
Yours are
kind of
just as important, James.
yeah, kind of a joke,
So
because
James
she
is
can't
gonna
not
time me.
talk.
We're gonna get our auctioneer voices on.
Dabba, 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 dabba.
David.
There you go. Let's see if Hope can only talk for 30 seconds.
I might
all right?
go in overtime.
All right, so give us your take on what Brett
Awesome.
said.
Yes. Well, first of all, it was. Oh.
30 seconds is over.
Oh my goodness. Okay, but my favorite part is when Brett was talking about the why and really understanding the why. So, why are we doing this? Is it because we've always done it this way? Always understanding the why. And to even take that one step further, understanding the why behind the company. So what drives the company forward? The why behind it. And I believe when you find out the why behind the what, that can drive forward, your passion. It can drive, I know, I'm past 30 minutes. I'm in overtime, y'all. I'm just passionate about this because I think it's so true. And Brett, wonderful job. I really believe that Tower Community Bank is doing that, and you guys are thriving. So 30 seconds plus a few more, give or take.
That was beautiful. That really was.
Thank you.
All right. So I really enjoyed the let them choose. So I think it's great. All the things that Tower is doing, they understand their customers still might want to come into a branch, want to come into that brick and mortar building, but Tower is continuing to roll out the red carpet, regardless if they want to stay on their couch and do it through their website or through their mobile app. All things are available to them, and they are absolutely meeting their customers where they need to meet them. So I really thought that was cool.
It was.
And I was under 30 seconds, so I made up for your talking too much. So with that, all that being said, we are excited about a case study that's going to be coming out later this month.
Yes.
But I think we should send them off with just a final thought with just some specific information about final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Well, we want to give you some fun facts about Tower Community Bank. So the first one is they were founded in 1970. They are based out of Jasper, Tennessee.
Beautiful.
James got to go there. I'm still a little salty about it. I needed
Beautiful
to hang
Tennessee
out with
mountains.
with the bank, but
Gorgeous.
It's really fine. Yes, they have 12 locations and they are at $337 million in assets. So, James, tell us a little bit more about what they're doing with the Invo platform and even going beyond that.
Sweet. Well, as Brett already talked about, there is so much going on with the virtual bank. We are excited to see how that really takes off. Their web portal, obviously they're using Invo Booking out there on that web portal where their customers can actually go out and schedule meetings. As Brett also talked about, Bankston. Their chatbot is adorable.
Adorable.
He is great. He's down in the corner. He will literally bounce around and dance at you. There's exciting things going on with Bankston, so can't wait to see how that continues.
Yeah.
And what happens if they roll out text as well. You never know what can just absolutely take off with text. So a lot of cool stuff going on, and what you didn't hear today but you can hear about in the podcast is a little thing called Momentum. So Momentum is actually a great commercial lending platform that they are continuing to roll out in doctors' offices and dental offices. They're taking on the big boys and they're going to get those loans sent directly to Tower instead of those others. So we can't wait to see how things continue to go, continue to move forward, and great things are ahead.
All great things are ahead.
All great things are ahead. So let's see if anybody listened to anything we had to say.
Ooh, is this our final Kahoot
This is
time?
our final Kahoot.
Okay,
so
you
hopefully
guys.
you guys are ready for this.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Get that browser up. Get
Browser
that app up. Final thoughts. Final thoughts.
That was
All
our
right.
final thoughts.
Question 1. What is the name of Tower's chatbot?
Oh,
Is it Bankston? Is it Chatbob? Tower Bot or Chatbot?
Chatbob.
What is it?
Chatbob. That
Chat-
sounds like something you made up.
Honestly, it's a wonderful name.
It's a wonderful name.
It's a wonderful
Not
name.
as good as Bankston.
I'd probably name mine Kirby. I don't
Huh?
know.
Oh boy, that's a
Love
fine.
Kirby. Kirby's a cute
That's
name.
a fine.
Okay, yes, it is Bankston. What an adorable name.
Yes, it is.
What
Oh
an
my
adorable-
gosh,
we love
Raider Hog.
Bankston. V, hold in first place. Don't let Raider Hog win. No,
Do
just
not
kidding.
let Raider Hog win.
What is Tower's online environment called? Is it the power of the tower, digital branch,
It should be.
online banking, or virtual bank? What is it?
Oh my goodness.
The power of the tower.
Power of the tower. There's a lot of power in the tower.
Lots of power. In
Lower, yes. Lower? Lower,
Lower.
power. Power Lower.
All the
V
things.
versus Raider
yes,
Hog.
It was virtual bank.
Very good,
Very,
very
very
good.
Okay.
Oh, Lord, hear my... Oh my goodness. This is going to be a big day. Oh,
here
come
we
on.
go.
Finish
This
strong.
is the last question. What is the name of Tower's new commercial lending platform?
Oh, get it.
Momentum, Inertia, Monumento, or Nitrous?
Nitrous.
Woohoo!
This lorry's on fire. Look, it says it right there.
Lori is on fire. But everybody else, you still have the chance to win.
Come on. Who's it going to be?
Okay, this is where we see the leaderboard. It was Momentum. That is correct.
Momentum,
Such
yes.
a cool concept. We love it. All right, let's see the leaderboard. In third place, we have
Dun, 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 dun.
Raider Hog.
That's good.
In second place, we have
Daiquiri.
Daiquiri. And in first place, we have
Drum roll, please.
Lori.
Lori! Oh my goodness, there's stuff falling from
confetti.
all the confetti.
Congratulations, Lori.
Congratulations, Lori. We are so excited. You finally got to the top. Yes, this is my year. I love it. Absolutely.
2023 is your year.
2023. There it is. Congratulations. The beautiful part is we know exactly who you are. So here in a minute, Hope's information is going to be on the screen. So make sure that you send her an email because she's going to want to make sure that you get the purple one, you know, because let's face it, purple's the best. Whatever color you want of Yeti, we'll get it shipped to you, and we are excited about it. So, first things last things first.
Here we go.
So the last thing we want to make sure that you know is all about the call to action today. So in the show notes, you are going to see all kinds of information about Tower Community Bank, Brent, the ability to actually go out to our website and sign up for our insiders. So all kinds of cool things that are going to be coming forward. So you're going to want to make sure that you are here next month.
Yes.
So make sure you go out there, register on the website, register for next month's insider. It's going to be awesome. I think we have a quick teaser for next month's insider.
We
so
sure do.
Without further ado, roll that beautiful bean footage. Yes, we are so excited for next month. We can't wait till next month.
Yes.
It's going to be on the 1st.
The first.
The absolute first day of February. So
February.
be ready.
Yes.
We can't wait.
We are so excited. Thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate you. We're excited to see you next month. But until then,
Night night. We'll talk to you later.